Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Let's Play of Russia. This is, I think, my third or fourth attempt of trying to record it now. If you saw the post, we were having issues where, in short, our subject here would form Afghanistan, but then the problem is a journal entry comes up that causes different land annexations depending on the situation, what is controlled. And what happened, I've figured it out now thanks to assistance. What would happen is one of the options would end up getting Kalat annexed by our subject, but Kalat wouldn't actually vanish. It would still technically exist, but it also wouldn't. The game would get confused, and that was causing the crashes. So I've learned that if I just leave it to where the end result of the journal entry is that the borders remain unchanged, we should be able to avoid the crashes. Very quickly, someone did also want to take a look at the cultures very quickly. They had asked for that. I have gone through this list twice now. It is mostly Europeans, but we do get things like Persian mass migration, which is largely in Kiev, and that is because Persia's in our power block. I had also noticed that there's a single Bolivian working at a shipyard for a very poor wage. I had laughed the first time I had seen it, but unfortunately now at this point I was already aware of it. And so I'm kind of at this point where it's like I already know about it and I want to laugh, but I can't keep the quality because of the crashes that kept happening. Happening. Um, but we are going to do a couple of things. First off, hello, random communist for the armed forces. We are going to do a few things that I was previously doing when I started recording this that obviously I have now lost because the crashes were messing everything up. And it would feel really weird to just continue from the point that it left off in due to the time difference. We are going to modernize the Navy by expanding the Navy. Just roll with it here. We're also going to modernize the Army by getting rid of all the cavalry and expanding it with lots of shrapnel. So we're going to have, excuse me, a lot of troops to roll with. We're also going to get rid of some of these very tiny units just to make the UI look a little better. And we're expanding the Navy with a third fleet. That way we can kind of guard our coastline a bit over here. Because in a previous recording, I was fighting with Britain and realized I needed that extra Navy to guard the expanded coastline here in the Baltic. But obviously, that kept crashing afterwards thanks to a certain Afghanistan. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time. We're also going to try more moderate reform. We're still going to go for the Council Republic, but we're going to do Parliamentary Republic first just to get rid of monarchy and its aristocrat bonus. I totally forgot about that effect on our political situation. So we're going to fix that. We're going to get our infamy down so we can kind of subjugate a lot of our subjects better, because right now they're pretty rebellious due to the fact we're not really popular internationally. We're looked down upon quite a bit, actually. I can't think of anything else to go over. We're just gonna get right into it and try to catch up here. At least get the Gentry Assembly to stop existing. What's revolting in the Pacific Coast? Canadian Religious Revolt. That is actually very new. Huh. It's not big enough to where I think it would survive in time, but that is very cool to see. We're going to try to get the debt down and just generally get a lot of things built here. Get our universities up to get our innovation up. We're researching Zeppelins right now to help the technology. And hopefully rope Brazil back into our power block. But we're going to see how well that goes, if at all. Shock tactics are becoming. That's a +10. Bremen wants investments. We're going to politely decline because we have bigger things to worry about. Let's see, who can we make a bit of a subject? You're already puppets. They're all kind of puppets. Ooh, yes, weaken the preserve movement for the monarchy. That sounds fantastic to me. Norway wants investment. I'll actually say yes to that one. Oh, that made the petit bourgeoisie angry, though. But are one of these modifiers about to go away? In 4 months. 4 months is short enough. And this is what I was talking about. They would seize these territories, form Afghanistan, and then it would cause the crash because we'd go through the journal entry and Kalat would get annexed, and Kalat is a subject of Britain. So that's why it was involved to begin with. Who was involved in this? Oh, my Dominion subject. Let's just, there we go, fix that right quick. They're actually still in it. If we get involved, they wouldn't be involved anymore, I suppose. I don't think they need our involvement, though, right? Yeah, they could easily win it. The only reason for us to intervene would be to seize some of the additional territory and just knock it out, so to speak, but that's probably irrelevant. This is what, Kashmir? It's a split state with the Sikh Empire. That's alright. Ooh, the Netherlands is having a revolt. What is... It would mean a war with Austria, but seizing the Dutch themselves would be nice. I don't think... Yeah, the Dutch East Indies did collapse. It's mostly Java now. Industrialists would be hard to involve without it kind of crashing on us. But if I do it temporarily, is that enough? Is that enough to sway them? No. Again, this is going to upset people. It's going to really make people angry, but what if we do that? Still not enough. Let a day tick just so it registers the change. Maybe that's what we need, just to be safe. No. Okay, well, in that case, we're just going to go back to the government form we had and ignore the whole thing. Just ignore the new rebels we now have. Karl Heinrich Marx. Oh no, he's retiring. That's new too. Oh, but the rule folk got a random anarchist. Ooh. All right, I'm game for that. I am here for that. It's a shame that he retired. I wasn't expecting that. Oh man. I mean, I guess that's okay. Oh wait, that's gonna hurt the trade union because he was a general. Dang. All right. Well, I guess there's no Heinrich Marx in charge of Russia. We never really got to that in the end, huh? It's kind of my fault, but, you know, it's whatever. We'll deal with it. We'll work with it. Are there any, like... I guess there are positivists and... The nihilists would probably be the best option because they are neutral towards it. Well, I don't know. We could just leave the slot open and roll the dice. You know, spin the wheel a little. That's probably what we'll do for now. Probably suppress the industrialists too, just to keep them down. But one of them should cool off here in a few weeks, so I'm not too worried about this actually becoming a civil war. But it's at least worth keeping an eye on. Oh wow, that one leader there's died and now their cloud is just falling. I suppose that makes some sense, but it's still unfortunate. Oh, a random anarchist for the rule folk. Fantastic. You'll make a perfect sacrifice for the political system. There we go. Preserve monarchy shouldn't cause a civil war now. We're going to kind of just let things tick along here as they are. We're just kind of setting things up and letting the dice roll. Yep, Afghanistan will form as our subject. That won't be a problem. Kind of just rolling through things here. We do want to lower coal costs just so we can do more automation. I think... God, what state would be good? What is like a lot of peasants still? We're kind of running out of peasants. We kind of need to recruit more peasants. You know what? Rostov has a ton of coal potential. We'll just build that up as a nice little coal industry then. Population growth's looking good, 1.74%. Minimum wage is going to go up in 18 weeks, which is very nice. Should help reduce the pay gap a little. Vacuum canning finished, which is going to help other technologies finish faster. Okay, so this is the journal entry I was talking about. So what would happen is that Britain would offer to let Afghanistan annex Kalat. That would cause a crash. If we propose this line, it doesn't do anything because we don't own the territories there. We could request the Turkestan Mountains to give it to Persia, but to my understanding, Persia doesn't really gain anything from that. Maybe I'm wrong, but what we're just going to aim for is to approve the current system as is. No. We don't want it along the Indus River. The Indus River means Kalat gets annexed, and then we're just going to start having game crashes. So I'm going to need to kind of play with the system for a little bit here, kind of gaming it back and forth until we get the ideal proposal. Because there is another one where Afghanistan gives up some territory, and we also don't want that because we don't want to give the British more land. So we're going to kind of wait till the British proposal changes to the ideal version. We could also just let the journal entry fail. Which is entirely possible. And I think what happens if this fails? They just get claims on each other, which is fine. Yeah. If Britain doesn't change its proposal, we'll just let the whole thing break down. That will work too. But what kept happening, I almost missed this, is that I kept trying to get a result out of it, and, you know, it didn't really work in the end. So they won't accept, and Japan's antagonistic, so there's no way they'll accept. So we can't really get involved into that then. Yeah, so I think we'll just let negotiations break down in that case. We can't gain any territory out of it. Oh, wow, I really missed this one. Fascist Norway. Well, that's not really in the cards for us here. Neither of them are. Kind of just ignore it for now and just address other circumstances instead. We do need to produce more dye, but that's a little limited in where we can grab it. Does Fars have the special bonus, or is it these two states? Okay. I know they really built... Oh, they don't really have the people for either of these, do they? How many peasants does Persia still have? Not a lot. Not a lot. Less than expected, actually. They fully built up some of their arable land. In fact, it's probably... Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably up here is where a lot of their peasants still exist. Which, in fact, I could really go for some additional tea production now that I'm thinking about it. What? Wait. 27, so... Okay, that's a slight bug. We should... There's 27 arable... You know what? I'm just gonna leave it. We're just gonna leave it. If it wants to be funny, it can be funny. We'll just leave it as is. Because, in fact, while opium investments are good, because obviously cheaper intoxicants, liquor is so cheap, I'm not that worried about it. We might invest into cotton and tea in various areas instead, just because we do need something to keep the market price down for tea. In fact, this is about to be incorporated. Fantastic. Forgot to incorporate illy, though, which is not good. So yeah, we could make more opium to make cheaper intoxicants, but liquor is already so cheap, and it's like a majority of their demand that we arguably don't really need to invest into that right now. We could do it at a later date, but right now we don't really need to. Yeah, Britain's not changing their minds, so we'll just let it fail. And there we go. The Gentry Assembly no longer holds influence. We'll let it... I was going to say we'll let a day tick, because I think, yeah, that immediately changed a lot of the arithmetic. In fact, the rule folk pretty much died when it came to their clout, which is interesting. Because it was the aristocrats' clout that took the brunt of the hit there, because, yeah, they're 5.55% now. Capitalist farmers and bureaucrats control it. Yeah, I'm surprised by how much clout the intelligentsia got, but I'm not upset about that in the slightest. It could be that... Oh, I think I know what happened, because when you change a law like that, usually the calculation for everyone's support, like what they support, changes, and it must have caused them to immediately, like, rubber band and switch to different interest groups right away. Welcome to the Russian Republic, hopefully soon to be the Russian, not the Russian, but the Soviet Union. I know the petite bourgeoisie would cause too many problems, though. We have to kind of let that tick down a little. At least let biased enforcement go away in 18 months. That should kind of drop it enough. Is what I'm hoping. We'll see if it actually does. I see our income has increased, too. That could just be that, yeah, subsidies dropped. So it's not as expensive. So we'll actually drop the liquor tax entirely, then. Which will probably help our lower strata, because that's more of a lower strata tax than it is an upper strata tax, just from the sheer scale of size of their population groups. It's not going to help everyone. It's more likely just going to help people sit where they are, but it might help like an occasional group here, an occasional group there that we can't really find too well. And that's okay, as long as it helps someone. I know we're still like paying quite the rye farm expense here, as the grain price is still down. But once Zeppelins gets finished in 10 weeks, that should also help, because then what will happen is a lot of this local price will gravitate closer to the base price. That will actually mean more expensive fertilizer for this farm, but it also means that the grain will have a higher price. And the liquor kinda sorta will. I don't think it will. Ah! Or it will finish right now, because philosophical pragmatism finished. You know what? I will take it. That is good enough for me. I really could use the rotary valve engine at this point because we do not have a lot of remaining peasants. We do have women's suffrage, right? We do have that. Yes, fantastic. Because I could not remember. Threshing machines would be good if the wages were high enough on the rye farms. But as things stand, we're kind of subsidizing that, aren't we? Yeah. I think... I mean, with really cheap coal, we could still pull it off. So it's not a terrible idea. But I'm not going to sit here and say it's a great idea. We'll grab military statistics, actually, because what that will do, aside from boosting organization, it lets us train more people per week for manpower, and lets us get luxurious supplies, which it increases the cost of battalions, it increases meat and wine demand as well, but it gives them more offense, defense, and morale loss reduction. So that basically means they'll fight better. Ah, the Positivist Church. This is actually a very good idea. It will technically buff the petite bourgeoisie, but it should have given us, yes, a positivist of the petite bourgeoisie, which, if we put them in power and grant him leadership, now he is no longer, well, actually, he still technically is against the Council Republic, but, you know, the whole removing the monarchy thing is no longer a negative to him. It does mean switching to, oh, wow, really? Switching to that would anger him greatly. But that's only because you're at plus 20 right now, so it would just be a, what, a net neutral? I think we could just go for it now, then. I think we'll just remove you from off power. Yes. It does leave them as angry, though. I guess because we're technically switching back to a law they hate. Let's see what the calculation looks like. Oh, They're going to just make Norway a protectorate. They want to make Norway a protectorate again. Moldavia wants independence. We will politely decline. Brazil wants a trade agreement. We'll politely accept. What if we join to make Sweden a protectorate? Because who's going to join right now? Who might join? Austria's leaning pretty close because of ideological differences and similarities. So we might have to fight Austria for it. I kind of just want to annex their territories directly, though, just to combine it with Finland. But I think that's more expensive, even though it's faster in the short term, but it is more expensive in the long term. We could just ignore it for now, because I think we're about to have... Yes, I do want to get this done, even though it's going to cause problems. We do want to, yeah, that's what I thought. And that's, oof, that's with a tactful ruler. Dang, they're really upset. Yeah, the petite bourgeoisie are actually just getting more clout, huh? Oh, but if we wait long enough, the timed modifier should go out, so will a positive one, though. 15 months, 17 months. That's what, a net change of 1? 2 will switch off from that. Man, I thought putting him in power would make this easier, not harder. But you know what? We're gonna kind of roll with it anyway. We'll just see how far we can get with it. There's probably some generals I can acquire now, too. Yes. Trade Union Social Democrat. That's very good. Intelligentsia Communist. You're disliked, but you will do. We're definitely not politicizing the military right now. Why would you think that? We're not politicizing it at all. I'm definitely not putting certain people in charge in order to change the social fabric of the country to pass certain laws. Why would you ever think that? Ooh, I would love the -10, but academics getting more clout would also just help us. It kind of works in our favor, mathematically. Not by a lot, but by a little bit. Wow, Warsaw is making a lot of glass. You know what? Yeah, we'll build it up. I just hope it doesn't make the place easy to shatter. Oh, I don't like how high that is still, even if the threshold is starting to drop. Lowering taxes is not really an option. I guess we'll just ride with it. I probably shouldn't ride with it after how last time went, but you know what? We're just going to ride with it. We're just going to see what happens here. Okay, we got to the first enactment part. I can cancel our Amazon stuff to try to just... Amazon canceling. Cancel some of it just to, Okay, we got one more tick roll opening up to us at least, because that we did drop it by 10 and this goes up by 25. Depending on events, we should be fine. Just because dropping the authority means this is passing a bit faster. 80 days between checkpoints. Okay, 80 days. 80 days. We might be able to do that. There's no guarantee, but we might be able to do it, and we'll just kind of see. I forgot to show it the Zeppelin effect, didn't I? Our GDP is growing quite quickly, and in the last year, the rye farmers have kind of gone up. Grain prices are still the same, though. They kind of wobbled up and wobbled down. I meant to show that off, but I got so distracted with the political situation. Politics tends to do that. I do want to get the positivist stage done, because it does have a good event. Ooh. 50-50 chance. We'll just demote him and re-promote him. I don't want to take the risk right now since we already managed to score one success in one of the events where it kind of dropped it down a bit. Who can we import dye from that's not in the market? Portugal and Java? Might as well. We could try to pull them into the sphere at a later point. Oh, we got another success roll. If we can get one more success, it will pass. And the premier journal entry is gone. Qing is actually exporting silk to us. They still hate us, though. I really wish we could change their tune. Oh, maybe we'll get a chance. Maybe we'll shatter China. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, right, Russian Hormuz. I never did give that back to Persia. Which I guess is fine. We can build a lot of things, but I kind of want the dye. I kind of want the rubber, too, though. You guys don't exactly have peasants for me to use at this point, which is a little disappointing, but, well, that's just how it is. Brazil, I think, is a very similar circumstance. Yeah. Could we maybe pull them into the power block again? 15% chance. I'll let that roll a little longer. It's going to increase the radicalism, but I don't think we can avoid the radicalism. I think we just need to drop the chance that it becomes a civil war on a tick roll there. Yeah. We're kind of just playing with the dice, so to speak. And we're going to see if the dice play nice. Spoiler alert, the dice will probably not play nice. Ooh, wow, luxury clothes are getting high enough to where I can actually switch one of these over. Fantastic. It's very good to see, and I see our bureaucracy is falling, which is not a surprise. We did start expanding a bunch of things, so... Silesia, Silesia. Forgot that we had that for a bit there. Let's just go ahead and build that up. Oh, the coal mines. We could have really been building up a ton of coal there, especially now with the Zeppelins. Oh, I really hope this passes. Oh, I really hope it passes. If it rolls the 2.2% chance to stall, I'm going to be so miserable. I will be so miserable. Thank God. Thank God. How bad is our cohesion going to be now? It's dropping to 38. Oh, Ecuador. No, Greece is the worst. Greece is the worst. So Greece is the one we want to try to change first. I don't know if it will change them, but we'll just do it. They are still a monarchy, so we're going to have to do it the hard way. Good to know. What about Finland? Does Finland have socialism research? They do. I can check it if I just check their trade union. So we'll at least force that, so at least Finland is now a council republic with universal suffrage. I don't know what that does to their political system. It probably causes a civil war that we'll have to deal with later. Okay, so... right now, our cohesion is just going to die. There's really no way to avoid that right now. We can't change nations like Persia because they don't even have socialism research. What we'll have to do is actually annex them and then release them. And they're a 75% chance. They're like the first ones I'd like to try when it comes to Persia. I don't need them to get multiculturalism, although that would be awesome. No, we're not going to save scum this. We're just going to try. We're just going to hot join and try. Not hot join. Ah! Persia accepted. Excellent. We could just keep it, but we are going to kind of make subjects here. So Persia. Where is Persia? It is somewhere in here. There it is. Let's see, it will be 13 states. Oh, they're actually not... I guess we could keep that or give it back. Released its own subject country. Persia now exists again, except it is now a council republic with universal suffrage. With proportional taxation, homesteading, agrarianism. They'll probably change the cooperative ownership on their own, which, speaking of, is the next law for us to put into effect. Oh, yes, we're jumping straight to it. I kind of want to give Turkmenia and Merv back to them for their journal entries, if I'm honest with you. On the other hand... Oh, right! Oh, right! Persia should now have access to irrigation as well. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. We should have switched it over before we gave it back. But I kind of want to see how that plays out. Ooh, do we just have that as straight up incorporated? You know what? We'll keep these states. We'll go ahead and just keep them. Why not? But Persia is now a council republic. I should have annexed you, but one thing at a time. We're already over 50 now for the cost there. I need them to have their elections finished before we try to change their... actually, cooperative ownership, what would that do right now for them? Rural folks are led by an ethno-nationalist. Yeah, maybe we let their election cycle finish first. Speaking of election cycles, ours just started, and the Communist Party is pulling ahead, as expected of them. I wouldn't expect anything less. Paraguay had a civil war, didn't notice. Oh, I'm just so glad we managed to pull that part off. We'll probably annex Moldavia and Wallachia, or at least Wallachia, because again, I really do want the oil company. Although we could annex it, influence progress increased by 10, and then just release it. So, you know, like a catch and release system. That is something else we could do. We could probably afford to do it. South Italians are mass migrating to the wait, the Amazon? Really? South Italians want to go jungling, I guess. You know what? I welcome it. I will say nothing against it. In fact, this is going to wow, 66% of the state's population. That is fantastic news. That means we can get a lot more rubber out of it. So does Persia start seeing a GDP spike? I don't think so. I don't think they'll switch right away to automatic irrigation, but they do have access to it. They do. Oh, they did switch to it for some of them. So they might just be kind of doing a selective switch where they're switching over a piecemeal to make sure that their economy can handle it. Because we did seize about 1.7 million of their GDP, and they're still at 25.9. The concert interrupted. Appalled by Great Britain's aggressive disruption of the concert of Europe, the Orthodox Church have aligned themselves with the anti-British society. The concert of Europe went out the window a long time ago, buddy. But, sure. Do I want to fund the journal? 60k? 60k for 5 years makes the research faster? Why not? Normally I wouldn't, but why not? Ooh, wow. Well, they're going full conquest mode here. Technically Austria is the only one that doesn't dislike us, and defanging Prussia first might be our best bet, but I don't think we can get anything out of it. It might just be something we let happen. Afghanistan is now rebellious towards the Soviet Union. Where have I seen this before? This will surely end well. What is this war between Britain and France resulting in, too, if anyone wins? I don't think anyone will win, but yeah. They're kind of trying to cave each other. Oh, shoot, wait. Britain might actually have a chance. What finished? Oh, military statistics. Okay. Phew. I hit the button as soon as it popped up, like the nanosecond it was available, and I didn't see at all what had finished. In this case, I really do want to get the automation technologies now, since we're going worker cooperatives. Because worker cooperatives, what they do is that everyone gets a portion of the dividends that's working there, and the less people working there, the less people that have to share the dividends. If everyone gets employed, usually the net result is a better standard of living, but usually you have trouble employing everyone. Not usually, but oftentimes there's usually a problem. Usually in the form of having lots of people everywhere. Because everyone wants to migrate to you because your standard of living is going up so much. We might actually invoke migration controls later. We'll see. Sulfur is actually above base price. That is unusual, and I am happy to see it. Turkmenia does have quite the sulfur mine, so we'll build that up first. It does also mean something else to keep in mind, though, is that all the government dividends, which are currently at 416k, we're going to lose all of this because once we switch to cooperative ownership, all the workers will gain ownership of this. But it does mean the 2,400 bureaucracy that we're spending on owning all of those buildings, which is over a tenth of our total bureaucracy, for anyone wondering, will no longer be spent. Oh, cool. So does this shatter China? I assume that they're going to become a major power before anyone can maybe influence them here. Ooh. Yes, 30%. I'll take that. I think they do become a major power. Yeah, it looks like they might. They're very close to it. Oh, they're antagonistic too? Don't do that to me. Come on. Don't do that to me. Could you imagine getting all of China as our subject? It probably would cause China to shatter, actually, honestly. We'll probably ignore it then. South German mass migration from France. I don't know how much value that holds, but that's cool. That's also why, well, there goes our construction. It's up anyway. Trade union is now powerful again. It's also why I didn't want to, ooh, ironclads. Get more construction is because we're going to lose out on a lot of money, and we need to kind of see what that all shifts to before we actually start upgrading things without a second thought. Okay. Frigates cannot be upgraded to frigates. Right. We can do ironclads, but we need to get monitors before we can upgrade the light ships. That's fair, that's fine. We'll probably not upgrade the ships right away, but we'll upgrade them the moment we need them. Is what I'm thinking. If they are a major power now. I would not mind joining to help shatter China, but they're not letting us get anything out of it, so I really don't care in that case. They can knock them. They can quite literally knock themselves out if that makes them feel better. Ooh, our cohesion's not as bad now. I guess it's because Greece became... Oh, no, it's because our leader legitimacy is maxed out. There's no negative from this. We do have worker cooperatives. So what will happen right now is this GDP of 408 million is going to drop because the entire upper strata is about to vanish. It will take time for it to be replaced. Our money is also going to be just down the drain until the dividend taxes take over. We'll probably have to institute a tax temporarily to prevent it from falling too much. But the end result should be that we actually end up with a better economic system if we've built everything right. We could have also built things horribly wrong, and this is about to just completely collapse on our heads. We're going to find out. I guess we'll just use our usual test subjects here of the middling class right here. They're technically actually already benefiting from half ownership. Let's use the people in the fertilizer plant. Because I'm biased as hell. And because the fertilizer plant isn't going to see itself economically collapse right off the bat. Other places will, but not that. Let's see. We built this up. Did this just get more people? Is that why it has so much more recruitment? We built it up and there's still peasants. I guess it did. But coal is cheaper now, so I guess that's irrelevant. Sure, why not? More cotton plantations. You could always use those. It will take time. The game might even lag a bit. It does need to kind of transfer things over. And you might be seeing it, but the game is stuttering for half a second or two when it switches to the week. That is because it is transferring a ton of buildings at once from government control to worker controlled. So don't be alarmed if you're seeing the stuttering. That is well within expectations. Like, we are expecting it to stutter. Brazil did revoke our investment rights, but that's not a surprise. You can see our bureaucracy has recovered quite nicely, and our GDP is falling, which, again, we expected. The fertilizer plant is now completely worker-owned, and these impoverished folks here have actually gone up a standard of living already. I was about to use them as an example. I'm going to let this tick another week, even though we can build things, but yep, they're already going up in standard of living. And hopefully, dividends are starting to take over somewhat, but we're expecting to see a fall, which is happening, and then we're expecting to see a rise, because despite that falling, the people working here are growing rapidly in their standard of living. So what we're effectively hoping is to kind of see that effect spread out across the country, and kind of restabilize things. Whether it does is a completely different story, but it's a story that we're going to find out. Minus 14% for iron price. Not bad. Not too bad. Lots of coal there. Lots of coal here. We're kind of using the glassworks here instead. Oh my god, porcelain prices. They're so low. I've never seen porcelain so cheap before. Oh yeah, the groceries are probably going to collapse right now. Which should be interesting. I wonder how grain prices are going to fluctuate there, because more people should start buying groceries as a result. Just because it's cheaper. But yeah, as noted, our GDP did fall initially, but now it's starting to rise as our standard of living begins to grow at a much more rapid pace. Because a lot of people are starting to see that increase in their standard of living. Which should help reinvigorate various businesses that have started firing some people. Because, you know, they can't sell anything. Honeyed, we are far gone in conquering Turkestan with a honeyed approach. That is long gone. With the amount of people we've already occupied. And then, you know, taught the ways of cooperative ownership. This isn't going to go well. Yeah, oh man, that financial negative is really high. Might let the investment pool temporarily take over here. It's just going to drain anyway. Just to kind of buoy things while we let the switch fully resolve itself here. Oh my goodness, tea prices are just through the roof. Which is good. We want tea prices to be through the roof. I'm just kind of noticing it. If we use rail transportation here, how bad would that be? You have, like, no rail transportation, do you? You do not. Good to know. Yeah, remember when we said we were probably going to make a bunch of tea instead of, like, opium? Yeah, we might need that, tea. Because the price just spiked quite a bit, and I think it's going to keep rising. But we'll see. Oh yeah, it's still going. Now, as you can see, our GDP is actually higher because the average standard of living has grown, which is starting to help boost up prices. It will actually see our pop growth fall, though, because of the higher standard of living, which is fine. Crisis in Paris. Ooh, communism in Paris would be nice. Don't mind if I do. Freedom of thought. Yeah, we're well beyond that at this point. Have we not finished the Trans-Siberian Railway? Really? Really? Time to make sure we do. Oh, wow. Our GDP is really climbing up there. GDPC is over 4 now. It will eventually kind of peter off and stop rising. Some of them will grow higher than others. But, oh man, yeah, some of them have really grown up there. Are you still growing by any chance? Does it stop? No, they're still growing. They'll probably hit 30. Class above nation? Absolutely. Is Finland still going to have its civil war? Not quite. It is switching off legal guardianship, which has kind of honeyed up some of them, which is good. It's not perfect, but I will take good. Military science. Which one gives us the most positivist progress? This one does. The reason why I want to finish this is because the Positive Epoch event has a very, very useful event that will temporarily boost our research for 5 years, as well as education access, which is just really nice to get research done at a much faster speed. Not surprised that our peasant numbers are up considering our circumstances here. Let's just kind of subsidize that as well. Huh. Oh, I think I know why. Our construction went down probably because we had a bonus going on that's no longer active. I don't remember if we did, but I'm assuming that's why it suddenly dropped. It's the only logical explanation I could really think of. Otherwise, we're just cursed. Oh, yeah, luxury goods are really high in price now. High enough that I could arguably switch all these over to producing them. Which actually cratered the price. Wow, it cratered the price? How many things were making clothes? Goodness gracious. I didn't realize how many of them were just making regular clothing. Let's maybe not switch all of them then. Let's probably find some of the biggest ones here. We switched Kiev over. I'm just going to kind of scroll through really fast. We'll switch Kursk over as well. And where was the other big one? I know we had another big one somewhere. Here we are. Just until things kind of like recover and switch around. That way we're not mass cratering the price right off the bat. But yeah, luxury furniture will be fine. That one was more close together. Definitely want to produce some silk, though. Oh, man, I would love to make more tea, though, but we're going to need silk no matter what, because that's used for our textiles. Only used for textiles, mind you, but it's still used for textiles. I'm going to make 30 of them for now. And that is the first of many mass migrations, I'm sure. 10 years to go. Oh, right, we're not doing any law passing, because we could probably pass more laws at this point. Dividend taxes are up. Might actually pass migration controls. We'll see about that, though. We could actually get multiculturalism. We actually have 2 people that would support it. You know what? I'm just going to go all in for it. It's not the wisest idea. It might even be dumb, but we're just going to go all in for it. Is that going to take 40 days? 41 days. I mean, still, that is fast. All right, then. How's purchase economy doing? A lot better. It's at almost 40 million now. It's really jumped up there. Yeah. They've switched over. It's becoming quite the agricultural economy. Led by an ethno-nationalist, but, you know, well. Can't do everything now, can we? Yeah, shoot, we might easily pass multiculturalism here, then. Which is very, very good to see. Very promising. I didn't really plan to grab it, but I'm gonna take it. I'll be honest with you. I will take it. There's no manor houses, Your Grace. Groceries are now above base price, and grain is actually getting cheaper. Because everyone's reaching the standard of living. Because anyone that reaches a standard of living base of 30 or higher, so an example would be these shopkeepers, because their base is 33, they will no longer consume basic food like grain. They need to eat something like groceries instead. So that is going to be very interesting. It's also why I haven't been using these methods. I could be using it, but now we want to be using grain specifically to make more groceries. And maybe this would be more efficient in the end. I actually don't know for certain if it would be or if it wouldn't be. But I'm going to be stuck in my ways, and we're just going to do it. With grain so cheap, we can probably switch the wheat farms over to citrus orchards at this point just to make sugar. Especially the one in Kiev. Even the railways are owned by the workers, which are probably not going to be the best source of income for them, but, well, I won't stop them. It's a workers' world now, after all. And, well, we could do Mine Boys for the temporary bonus. Oh, it benefits Manchuria, too. Yes, I'm going to do the migration attraction. We might as well pull in as many people as we can, suck them out of our rivals. Oh, the French Republic. Cool. Oh, the French Republic. Women in the workforce compulsory. My guess is that the French... Was it the Parisian government that won? No, over monarchist influence, they did not win. Yes, I'll take the bonus. Oh, things are going quite nicely. Quite nicely indeed. A new generation, does that finish it? Yes, it does. There we go. The first one is what we want. The technology research speed, education access, and qualifications for 5 years is very good. That affects all research. The other one is just a bonus to the positivist leadership. Not really something we want right now. 50% interest group political strength for the armed forces, bourgeoisie, and industrial still. Like, dang. But yeah, no. So, for example, it would take 12 months to get threshing machines. It will now take 10 months. Not a huge difference, but it is also going to affect the tech spread, which is affecting 3 different technologies. So that is really nice. What is our unemployment at? Not that, it's pretty low relative to total employment, I think. 33, 50, yeah. We could probably do it. It's gonna, what, ask for more coal, which is cheap, and we'll just make more coal to subsidize it, so it's not gonna be a problem in the end. Yeah. We'll even do it in the armed industry. Well, maybe not the armed industry. I don't think the armed industry could handle it. if I'm honest with you. Yep, we'll just do it. And then that gives us the perfect reason to make even more coal. The question is where? We have quite a number of options. Yes, this area will do nicely. I think 30 more coal mines will do very nicely. Very, very nicely. So are you still rising? You've kind of petered out. You're actually really paying for services. Wow. Ecuador demands independence. How many are actually demanding independence? Just Ecuador, but Ecuador has gotten some powerful friends to try to help it out. Mostly the U.S., but the U.S. it's mainly because the U.S. has, like, mobilized its units. Oh, is the U.S. already at war and in debt? At 55? Ooh, so America's already, like, pushing towards debt. Good, 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 good. We will reduce Ecuador's autonomy for this as, like, a punishment. Then Uruguay. I would not mind just straight up annexing them. Actually, we could seize Cuba, which I believe gets rubber. You have resources discovered, right? Yes. Yes, you do. You also make a lot of bananas, which I'm not a fan of, but, you know, we'll deal with it. Does mean seizing it from Spain, though. That could be a pain. Could be hard to pull that off. Could make Chile a subject, right? Or are they already someone else's subject? Doesn't look like they are. People could also join. Oh, it doesn't look like anyone join. The closest Austria at -63. Hawaii is the subject. Oh, that's cute. it's a subject of the U.S. Well, now it just makes sense. I don't know. I don't know if Uruguay would offer us much. They do have discoverable resources. I guess if it was well populated, it could make a bunch of coffee. We could also try to make a big subject down here, but that's probably irrelevant. Not very relevant, at least. You know what? We'll go for making Uruguay a protectorate. Why not? It'll be expensive, but we will go ahead and mobilize the army, and we do need to give them the more expensive goods. Yeah, this is gonna be really expensive for us. I don't know if we can get a landing off in the U.S. with the amount of units they have, but if we could, I'd love to see, like, liberate New Africa just to weaken them. But I don't think we could pull it off, to be honest with you. So we're going to go and send some units down there, and we'll send a fleet as well to get Ecuador. Because we also need to send another fleet to get Uruguay. I know we haven't upgraded the ships yet, but I don't think the U.S.'s flotilla of 44 ships that are almost certainly not upgraded will do much against us, in all honesty. Do I go for Broken Seas, Cuba? I don't know. Immediately after we get multiculturalism. Which I guess means migration controls is almost redundant now. Meaning we could pass it anyway to keep people happy, but at this point we probably don't even need to. Graduated taxation would get us more money. Speaking of money, though, it would also help if we just taxed, like, one thing. Although, I'm a little worried about doing that, because then you've got people who won't be as high in standard of living. But I guess we need to think about the bigger picture right now, yeah. We'll slow it. We'll slow down the decline. It's gonna drop some people by a wealth level, but that's okay. A lot of things have been recovering here and there. And the discrimination factor's been reduced, too. God, I don't know. Cuba, I'm not going to say Cuba isn't worth it. Cuba would definitely be worth seizing. I just don't know. I guess it does have coffee, yeah. And it wouldn't be hard to, like, seize it and hold it. It's just going to add more infamy for us to deal with, which I'm not a big fan of. Oh, wow, they sent like the whole army down here, didn't they? That is actually really scary. In hindsight, we should have done the same, but I didn't know if they'd send the whole fleet. The good news, though, is that we can convoy raid it to death. And hopefully weaken them that way. Where's that third navy of ours? Oh, we have 3 of them. We've made 3 fleets. Argentine Sea, Russia HQ. Oh, I just can't see them because they're docked, right? Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll send some more units over and start conscript recruitment as well. But we might lose that area. Which will be unfortunate if so. Actually, I just realized I should turn off lending troops. The moment the war began, the U.S. fell into default. Okay, this isn't so scary now, because the moment they go bankrupt, they're going to lose a lot of their stats. I still don't know if we would have gotten a landing off, but you know what? It's good enough. They are moving up there, though, because Ecuador is now involved. Oh, yep, here come all the mass migrations. Vietnamese. Ooh, lovely. And there we go. They still have strength by sheer number, but the U.S. troops have really fallen when it comes... Wow, a lot of South Italians are here now. Their troops will have really weakened at this point. We're actually going to just build up all the sugar plantations here, because we're going to need sugar, and arguably anything else isn't really going to be useful. Tobacco technically would be, but I don't want it. Perpetrators will pay for their crimes. Yeah, as more troops arrive, we should be fine. But yeah, the U.S. is in not just default, but bankruptcy now, which actually doesn't guarantee their civil war, but it's going to put more pressure on them. Historical French authoritarian. No thanks. Good press for Britain. We can't have that. And another revolt in the East Indies is a major power, so it's... I mean, with the war we have right now, it's probably not worth investigating into that yet anyway. Well, they're trying to do regime change in Persia. Good luck with that. Ah, minus 80. I guess we should be focused on other things anyway, like the, you know, the war. That comes to mind. Yeah, they've got sheer numbers on their side, which is a little problematic. Oh, good news. Spain has a civil war. I wonder if we could seize them. That'd be fantastic if we could. We get gantry cranes really quick just to upgrade, maybe. I kind of want to get nitrogen fixation now, even though grain is, like, really cheap. Just because that would, usually at least, it would make things more profitable. Usually. I don't know if it would in the end. How is the lower strata? Service, clothes, tea. Service, clothes, and tea. That is different. Could make plastic with oil. Would really knock down glass prices. Would really fire up the oil industry. Could also just push towards the compression ignition engine. Engine? I meant to say engine, which would actually... We would really only take 5 years? That's impressive considering how expensive it is. I guess it's because we can do a lot of investment right now for the next... how long is this? Roughly 4 years? Oh, it would be really costly to push for that because of the expense it carries. But if we grabbed that, we'd revolutionize our technology even further. Diesel engines for the motors. We could get automobiles going everywhere because of all the oil. Normally I wouldn't push for it, but you know what? I'm feeling gutsy. Let's push for it. And maybe tech spread will help us somewhere. Yes, electrical generation. That should drop the price a little bit more. So we'll just kind of push for that and see where it lands. Hopefully it lands well, but we'll see if it actually does. We pretty much murder our coal prices too, which is a nice bonus. Alrighty, we'll start pushing in the south with all these units that we brought in. I mean, they already are, but we're going to give the orders to the remaining units to push. And probably up here too, because their units have gotten weaker. And thanks to convoy raiding, they can't fully recover their morale, which means... Ooh, Amazon uprising. Who is suffering that? Bolivia. Just side with them on that then, just so we can help them out if we need to, but hopefully we won't need to. Oh, the road folk would oppose it. Right, ethno-nationalist. Let's try it anyway. Alrighty. Is fish still eaten at luxury food level? It is not. Good to know. Good to know. Wow, they're really building up the gold mines, which I have... Admittedly, I have neglected many of the coal mines that I really shouldn't have. Soviet Alaska. I love it. I probably shouldn't, but I do. Persia's trying to enact cooperative ownership. That's good to see. I don't know if they'll succeed. But because they're a puppet and they're under ideological union and because they agreed, they've got a good shot at it. Ooh, I don't know if I don't know if the military revolt would have agreed to us. They're about to become a major power. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten it anyway. I don't know. But it's okay. We've got a good thing going on here. We're really progressing. And also doing more warring, but, well, that's to be expected of us, right? Oh, wow, Spain just gave in. Excellent. I didn't even I didn't have to land in Cuba. They just gave up. Very good. Very happy to see that. If only I had enough cohesion. Cuba now hates us, though, so that is a new problem to have. It's a new problem we shall have. Do need to make more materials, which we will do our best to do. Well, they all kind of got sent back, but that's okay. Ecuador is now a dominion. Fantastic. We can go ahead and develop the Amazon here a bit, now that it's flourishing a little. What that basically does is it changes this state modifier to be more positive and less negative, which is very nice. It still keeps the hardwood output, but it's not going to hurt migration attraction or infrastructure as much. That Uruguayan people are mass migrating from Uruguay. I love it. Ecuador seeking to ask for independence after its failed revolt for independence, which is just funny to me. That's going to interrupt our trade for the rubber, which is a problem. Uruguayan Protectorate. A truce until 1889. We have a truce. Alright, fair enough. Uruguay, I'm just going to immediately build up your coffee plantations, because I want you to focus on that. And railways. Now, well, I guess they are mass migrating to us right now, aren't they? Yeah, we did read that. I do see we have a lot of money now. We can actually downgrade the service tax to like a luxury... Actually, an opium tax. That'll do fine. That will do just fine. So, the aristocratic revolt is antagonistic towards us, and the revolt that likes us, I see where they're revolting, it's over slavery. The revolt that kind of likes us could get utterly smashed with Austria being involved. And we don't really get anything out of it by joining, but we're going to join anyway, primarily to ensure the Brazil that likes us isn't going to just be eradicated. After all, losing that Brazil would really suck. We'll send kind of one of each over there. And then the rest are going to gather up on the border with Austria and knock them down. It does mean Austria's not going to like us anymore, but, well... They started... I wouldn't say they started it, but they kind of did start it. I'm just going to blame Austria, if that's okay. Look, I've got to play some real politics here. We're just going to blame Austria. Someone's got to take the blame for all of our problems here. And I am going to hit the upgrade all units button just so the Navy gets upgraded, because we can get torpedoes and monitors soon now. Not that they're in position for the upgrades at the moment. I imagine they have skirmishers. Yep, and shrapnel artillery. Yep. Ooh, focus on firepower. That'd be a good tech to get. Hey, it's finished now. And a lot of people in Spain are mass migrating now, but it's really just the areas that Spain still controls. Which is still a lot of mass migration to Tomsk, apparently. Even if it's only a little bit, it's still a little more than what we had. Oh, 36% of the state's current population. It is no joke. Alrighty. Hopefully we'll get through it just fine. We are utterly crushing Austria's military. They probably sent some of them to Brazil, which is why I wanted to send a notable chunk of our troops there. Ooh, did the US become a minor power? It did. Oh, it's such a shame that we have a truce with them right now. Oh, that would be worth pariah status. I'm not gonna lie. That would be worth pariah status, making them a subject. I would gladly eat that infamy for it. I would eat the infamy and more. Man, that's so many mass migrations. Which I'm okay with. It's just like, you know, wow, it's a lot. Oh, okay, you can... How many is it? It's just a line between all those states that got the attraction bonus. So it's just being mass colonized by mass migrations right now. Wait, are we getting a mass migration from British Yi people? Oh. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Turns out, Britain annexing some of China is helpful. Maybe not in the way that was expected or intended, but it is helping us now. The French Republic declares a rivalry. I responded by declaring one back. Russia still considers us a rival, and I totally forgot to rival them, so we'll just do that too, just so we have the improved relations capability with all these subjects that don't like us anymore. Because they do need to kind of fix that up a little. Identification documents. I'm sorry, we're probably going to be getting a lot of these mass migrations from now on. And since we have multiculturalism, we can't exactly just bolt the doors shut and ignore the problem. They're going to keep on coming in. And there really isn't much we can do about it except make the country worse again. Which we don't intend to do, so we're just kind of stuck with them. We are going to have to pay more for construction once the investment pool runs out, but it's still kind of got a ways to go. But it is dropping. It won't be completely gone, but it will be notably gone. Alrighty. We have saved the Brazil that doesn't dislike us, and I didn't notice it, but the Brazil that doesn't dislike us formed its own power block. This is a perplexing issue. Hopefully it will resolve itself in the future. It is a very perplexing problem. You know what? I'm just gonna pretend that this is okay and that it's fine. Because anything else is not good. How are they doing on that? Not great. They've already had a setback. Well, at least they're trying. You know, A for effort and all that. A for effort. There's the combustion engine. We will have compression ignition in 5 years. Don't know if we'll get to it in time here, but we're probably going to go for an extended episode anyway, or at least try to. But I'm just really glad that we managed to get around that crashing problem that was plaguing me for a few days. I was really upset when we couldn't, like, continue, because I knew we were getting close to something really fun. And I can't wait to make the economy boom a second time later. Once we get access to all that oil. God, glass is really high. Filipino mass migration. How is Cuba doing now? It's getting some mass migration. That's good. Maybe gave it way too much, Are they gonna fix this all right? Yes, they will. Okay, then it's fine. Yep, that'll be fine. Hey, a corporatist! We don't care. Corporations? We can't allow that nonsense here in the Soviet Union. I won't stand for it. None of that corporate nonsense. I do see our bureaucracy has gone negative again. Probably because of all the people that are now mass migrating here. If I had to take a guess. It's probably all the people that are mass migrating. Which is fine, but, you know, we do need to kind of solve that problem a little. The anarchist society. You know, how many votes are they looking at? Oh, it's quite a bit, actually. Which is, again, that's fine. It's just, you know, that's quite a bit. I'm sorry, what technology finished this time? It always comes at the most inconvenient of times. Ah, it was the technology for electricity, so we can start using that if we want to. I just don't know if we will. And we are, ooh, we're at the forefront of economic, or at forefront of production and societal techs because we're not getting any tech spread for either. So we are literally as far as possible on those relative to everyone else. Ooh, yes, 6K progress to film, please. Make that technology even easier to grasp. So after we get the compression ignition engine, we're honestly probably just going to push straight to macroeconomics. Usually I go for macroeconomics first, before the compression ignition engine, but we're kind of just following along here in a different manner. I do want to kind of clean up the map a little at some point, though. Nikolai, an ethno-nationalist. Oh, God. We have some interesting characters starting to show up here. I'd like the national dividends bonus. Han mass migration to Ufa. Oh. Oh, that could be a lot. So, which one is the most Han? This one? How many are we, like, talking about? Not two. Oh, wait. Ooh, that's a lot. It said Ufa, right? It's, like, somewhere up here. Ufa. I think it's around the Urals? Yes. Ooh. Plus, the surrounding area is going to get a bunch of people, too. Oh. Oh, yes. Let the Han Pops roll on in. Oh, you know what? Honestly, at this point, if we weren't using the technology still, I'd switch advanced research over to freedom of movement. Just so we could get even more pops per week. I want to do it so bad right now. But we're, well, first off, our cohesion has ceased to exist. Because Cuba hates my guts. And then, second off, we are still using that technology boost to get ahead of time technologies, so we might do it at a later date. Man, they all really don't like me right now. I can kind of understand why, but, you know, it still hurts. I think we will see Greece slip out of our grasp too now, but that's okay. That is A-okay. I am kind of just clicking buttons before I read at the moment, which is probably not a good idea. But, you know, we're here for it. So kind of as a test run here, just to test things. You're currently sitting at 22 standard living. What happens if we activate automation here? It does drop your income by about 5K. But what does that do for you? It actually drops your net income. Okay. Okay, so the benefit is not high enough at the moment. You would need coal to become cheaper, probably. And right now, it's not really cheaper. And grain got cheaper. Alright, alright. That being said, though, we could still expand some local businesses in this area now to employ those suddenly heavily unemployed people. That is a lot of people. Nothing we can't employ, of course. It's just worth noting. We'll probably expand our construction soon-ish. Yes, it's the trade union. I'm just trying to account for the investment pool eventually running out, and our unemployment is growing, though. That is true. So it wouldn't be a terrible idea to at least get new construction offices in states that have been lacking them. Baku still has not found its oil. That is a little unfortunate. I'm kind of sad about that. But that's okay. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Regular taxation would kind of get us more money, but that's not what we're aiming for. Okay, the price of those two are roughly the same again, so let's switch one of them over, because that's going to cause a price flip. And we'll see if a sudden drop in that helps anyone. Probably won't. Lowering taxes would, but we can't really afford to lower taxes right now. They're going to drop just because their business is technically making less money, but that is okay. These guys are growing, but it could be for unrelated reasons. Do need to handle the service costs, but we're going to need the compression ignition engine for that. Just for a variety of reasons. Primarily to make a ton more motors to then activate the public trams. Could get electricity everywhere to get the electric street lights, actually. The problem is that it would be another thing we'd have to fund, and there's no guarantee of their success for a while. But it's still worth considering. It's still worth considering. Rising literacy is very good. Things are going very, very nicely. Kind of let our infamy drop a bit down here, too, as well as the deficit, just to stabilize things a bit. We're not really stable. I wouldn't really call us that, but we're not strictly unstable either. The Fang people are now mass migrating to us. How is Ufa looking culture-wise now? It's already 13.3% Han, and that's probably going to rise for a little bit. All the states around it are getting it, too. That's great. Korean mass migration. I didn't catch where, though. I gotta stop clicking so much. To Tomsk. Man, Tomsk is just getting all the people. So, let it tick. Oh, maybe that is, like, the max it can do right now with the current infrastructure there. That would make sense. We didn't exactly invest a lot in the infrastructure of the area. But we can go ahead and do that now. Oh, there's so many people in these areas now. It's fantastic. There's just so many resources we could start just exploiting all at once without much issue. I see we have finished a very important journal entry for the People's Revolution. We will check that momentarily here. Let's see. So, because we don't have the Vanguardists unlocked, we can either go communist or anarchist, and forever anarchists, anarchy, multiculturalism. Anarchy, Soviet Union would be funny. It would be funny, but I kind of like my authority. In fact, we really should probably switch over spending it. Oh, well, then again, I guess suppressing the petite bourgeoisie is going to always be needed. And the communist leaders here do support a lot of things I want to keep. Oh my goodness! I totally forgot! We need to switch over to collectivized agriculture. I wonder how long people have been screaming at me about that. Technically, we don't have to switch over to collectivized agriculture, because it's all still completely owned by the people anyway due to cooperative ownership, except it will make it to where the petite bourgeoisie cannot attract the farmers, and it will let the trade union attract people. So it will actually hurt the petite bourgeoisie. It also reduces the farmers' clout, though, so that's going to kind of suck for them, but I guess their clout's already suffering anyway. Anyway, we'll go ahead and do the rival supports trade unions. You're only making me stronger then. Who do they think they're weakening here? France is importing steel while rivaling us. I love it. I love it when they do that stuff. It's so funny. They hate us, but they'll also buy our stuff. Probably because we're the cheapest option, if I had to guess. Danish mass migration. Excellent. How are the paper mills doing? Prosperous, affluent, pretty good, pretty good. Obviously, there are some areas that are just not as high as others. Some of them, like here, everyone's just either a peasant or unemployed, so it kind of makes sense that they're doing very poorly. I don't know if we're actually using oil yet, but we'll build some oil rigs there just for fun. It's kind of getting used, but it's kind of not getting used. If I build them now, they're probably just going to suffer and collapse, so we'll just build them anyway and subsidize them. Because why not? Let's just ban dueling. We don't need that event anymore. corporatist leaves us, and the trade union leaves the anti-British society once again. I'm sure at some point they'll come around to the idea of hating the British again. They do seem to love switching back and forth on that. Ah, so Persia did fail. That is most unfortunate, but with an ethno-nationalist in charge, it's kind of expected. But they have a council republic, universal suffrage, and they use automated irrigation, so, you know, it's good enough. Good enough. Persia wants autonomy. Oh, no, not you too, Persia. I thought we had something special. Persia. I thought we had something special. And a lot of my vassals really don't like me. I mean, I get why they don't. Generally, they were forced to become my vassals against their will, and they're not really a big fan of that. But I mean, still, you know, you can't hate me that much, right? It'd be so rude. I'm just so glad that we managed to get this far. Can we make one of the Greeks a subject? Probably not. 103. 107, even though you're proletariat. What is your main reason for saying no? Is it just you hate us? No, the ideological similarity just really isn't kicking it in. I guess it's just because, yeah, they're cautious. They don't really like us at all. Can't seem to really convince them either. Not right away, at least. There we go. That will hopefully knock out the petite bourgeoisie as well, so they can't be a thorn in our side for the future. Technically, we could just loosen the censorship laws, I guess. We don't have to. I actually love having authority. Thank you very much. But, we could technically loosen it. We'll see. We'll see. We should have a new... Where is it? Yes, our revolution is here. Healthcare system at level 5. See, we probably won't ever finish this because it wants old age pension, but technically the higher workforce ratio is actually better. So we probably won't finish that journal entry. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe we will. But I'm just going to kind of put it up front there that we probably won't. Probably won't. But we could. You never know. You never know. Alrighty. Hopefully we can get through a lot of 1890 here as well. As the numbers are up, unemployment is kind of balancing out, though. It also increase welfare a little so the unemployed don't just starve and die. Not going to max it out all the way, though, because I do want to keep some control over it, but we'll boost it up just a little bit. US is now a major power again, but they do have some discontent going on. Ooh. Oh, cool, humanitarian. A hedonistic humanitarian, but still. Half the population are Russian, 64,000 are becoming Russian every month. The Korean Confucians are the most assimilating in Tomsk. Pretty sure that... Wait, how much of Tomsk is Korean now? Oh, quite a bit, 16% and counting. Of course, different cultures are coming here now, but that is okay. Man, Tomsk is just filling up with people. Maybe a bit too many people. It's already employed this coal mine pretty hard. Oh, and she left. Oh, well. It's nice to have her around while it lasted. Anti-Austro-Hungarian Association formed as a result of decreased relations. Oh, well. Can't win them all. Some people are just going to be really upset with us. Really wish I could get those subsidies to the rye farms down, but we really did kind of break the bank, so to speak. Suppose building up some fertilizer plants would help. Not that we haven't already built quite a bit of them up. Is this Tambov? Saratov. I'm just trying to see what else has one I could build up first, but I guess we'll just build up that maybe, because Tambov has a lot of unemployed right now. So yeah, we might as well bump it up to 50 there. 16. We'll go ahead and drop the opium tax now. Just kind of give a little bit more money back to the people there. Because the consumption tax was eating up how much? 1.2%. So not a lot, but, you know, it was kind of there. It was kind of eating away a little bit here and there. Not too much, though. But maybe enough to make a difference? Not entirely. Well, at least we're trying. The luxurious. Luxurious, just the average citizen, then? Oh, the treaty port is uprising. That's funny. Kokon's demanding independence. Oh, Qing is backing their independence. Really? Now that I didn't see coming. Could we regime change Qing? That'd be funny. We could. What would that do? It would force universal suffrage onto Qing? Oh, that could be funny. Oh, that could shatter them. Probably wouldn't, but that would be really funny. I kind of want to do it just to see what would happen. Ooh. It's probably not worth the infamy, but it would just be really funny to do it. We could also steal Korea from them. It is a good state with like cotton and silk potential, as well as a lot of mines. You know what? I have sold myself on it. We will primary seizing Yosin. Yosin. I might be mispronouncing it. I'm just going to say Korea so people know what I'm talking about. Reduce Kokon's autonomy. And just for the kicks, we're going to try to regime change Qing as well. Just because I think it would be really funny if we succeeded. I know they're going to have a bunch of line infantry, and our trade with Qing here is going to die. But we'll just see what happens. I will just conscript conscripts as well, because for all we know, this is going to be very, very bloody. Maybe after compression ignition, we actually should, and I'm kind of thinking this because a lot of people are getting aggressive, probably get trench work so we can get trench infantry to make it easier to dig in. Really? No. What? No, I can't agree to this. You'll ruin the country somehow in some way that I can't really specify yet. Austria owns the cyanide. Interesting. I see our GDP spiked up to 600 million while I wasn't paying attention too. Very nice. Good to see. Of course, peasants getting non-peasant jobs are definitely going to be a lot better. How are the peasants thinking right now? Good. Good. I'm glad to see their job satisfaction is negative. Excellent. That means they'll actively seek out a better paying job if offered. So I don't need to worry about that being a problem. Fantastic. Because if that was a problem, that would really just kind of kick us down. Trying to build this up a little bit. Get some railways. They are recruiting people, but hopefully our superior capabilities will let us win. And we'll try to naval invade, just notching out that way. I did just notice one of our little subjects down here is revolting too. How dirty of them. We'll have to go show them, sorry, teach them a lesson, not show them a lesson. Slight difference there. Can even get more conscripts now if we want to. Oh, right, we were, oh yeah, we were sending all that iron to Qing now, so now Qing has no iron. Our tea imports from Qing probably didn't matter as much. We were importing cotton from them, which I think did actually matter a fair bit, but I guess it doesn't matter that much now. And we were exporting... Yeah, that's the thing. We were exporting guns and cannon to Qing, and now they don't have that. So, you know, good luck. Because now you don't have it to use anymore. I'm going to cancel some of these routes, actually, because we don't need them now. It is going to probably slightly dampen our GDP, though, because of the iron exports kind of fluctuating downward. Oh, yeah, minus 23. How much were we exporting? Enough to have an impact, apparently. But that will be good. That will probably halt their construction, and yeah, they no longer have iron to use in their military either. They don't have guns to use in their military, so that's just gonna hurt Qing and spike up its debt. Yeah, it's already spending 200k a week. Fantastic. And that's why it's good to export export items to people that don't like you, because if they go to war against you later, well, they don't have any money, because they don't have any resources. Ooh, Polish Uprising, I would love to help. I mean, if I help it, it would just weaken Prussia more, but, you know. They won't become my subject. They're actually very antagonistic. A lot of market access is slightly low just because of the situation. Right, we got the gantry cranes. I never did upgrade any of these. That is my bad. Also means the regular shipyard can now be switched over. It's going to be very bad at first because no one's really buying these for consumption, but that should change very quickly now that they're available in larger quantities. And we'll see. Did fire some people from their jobs too, of course, but don't worry, it'll be fine. They'll find new jobs somewhere, probably. Probably. I'm not guaranteeing that they will, they might. You never know. Alright, that's one revolt put down. One more to go, and then a certain Chinese country to kick down a little. I do see we're actually losing. Why are we losing? Oh, because the borders changed, so everyone's repositioning. Yeah, okay. It's one of those situations. So we just kind of have to let it happen. What are the top 10 economies right now? I'm curious. Britain, well, us, Britain, the Raj, Qing, France, Austria, the US, Persia, Egypt, Spain. Ooh, it's so nice to see Persia up there. Quality of life is very good, too. Presumably because they're under homesteading and all that, and a lot of people are, you know, working the land, so to speak. They're quite rich. Persia actually has a good standard of living relative to a lot of other areas. I love it. Yep. We will win this war against Qing. It's just a matter of when, not if. Yep. Naval invasion's going fine. Even with a negative roll, we're still doing A-okay. Ooh, tea is positive in price again. Allow me to just get more, I suppose. Ooh. Wait. 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 Uzbekia doesn't have that much arable land. How did I break that? How? How did I just conjure up like 1,000 subsistence farms out of thin air that can never be removed? What is this madness? How? Well, yeah, I have no explanation for that. We somehow broke this state. Okay, well, that'll be interesting to see how it unfolds as time passes. Hopefully that doesn't have any negative ramifications to the game's stability. I don't think it will, but it is really weird to see all the same. You literally just fought a war against us, and you're asking to be given more liberty and freedom? As if. Whoa, okay. Apparently Kuban broke too? How? What is... How? Why is it breaking and generating so much excess arable land that shouldn't exist? In, like, seemingly random states. I don't understand. How? Well, that's just such a weird thing to see. Okay, well, certainly an interesting moment. What's kind of happening here, too? Not as much in Georgia, but it's kind of happening still. It's like the game's just... I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's so weird. It's probably safer if I don't try to understand it. That's probably the safest method here. Yeah. Just don't try to understand it. Alright, Korea is now ours. I kind of just want to annex them right away, but that's not going to happen. Qing has also now been forced onto universal suffrage, which probably guarantees a civil war. We'll see how that goes. Empire Reform Association is going to get 83% of the votes, even better. Well, aside from breaking the game here and there, I would say this is going very well. Is this why Kuban's suddenly getting all that mass migration, or is that just a coincidence? I can't tell, honestly. Oh, shoot! I was so distracted by what was going on, I didn't notice that Prussia had a civil war erupt. Oh man, that sucks. We probably couldn't, well, we probably couldn't have grabbed them. Everyone kind of hates us right now. But that's still really cool. Canadian religious revolt. Is the US next? No. Would have been funny, though. Anti-Soviet League, I love it. I love it. Alrighty. 41's not a bad cost. We could totally pay for that. We just don't have enough yet. And here's hoping the rest of the game stays fine and we don't have another area with a weird, seemingly abnormal amount of arable land. Because that amount of excess unused arable land is like India and China levels of arable land excess. It's really, really bizarre, and it should not be happening. And yet it is. Okay, we're going to try to get to the compression ignition engine before we... Oh, no, we've actually got plenty of time. I thought a lot more time had passed. We're really progressing here. That's fantastic. Hey, a social democrat. Graduated taxation. It would technically probably generate more money. It would, but I don't want to take too many funds from the people. In fact, we're doing even better financially now than we were before. Not that we can drop taxes, but at least we don't have to worry about debt. At least, not as much debt. The Agrarian Party and Communist Party have formed, and the Industrialists have not ceased to exist. They actually are existing right now. I think they just reappeared. Could we just regime change you? We could try. It's just the problem is that people will probably intervene. Might do that later. Illegitimate government. Is that because we don't have the votes anymore because of the Agrarian Party? Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, we're temporarily illegitimate because pretty much all the votes vanished because they reformed into new parties again. Which, while unfortunate, is just something we're going to have to deal with. But that's okay. Average standard... Wow, Persia has the second highest standard of living. That's fantastic. I love it. It shouldn't happen at all. It should not be happening for the AI, and I absolutely love it. And I know we're to blame. We're the ones feeding them here, but I'm still going to be happy about it. Good news is the iron prices have come back. Well, actually, the iron prices have gone back up, not down. Because we're making all that extra steel because we need all this extra steel. Excellent. Excellent. How is Poland doing? Pretty good, I'd say. I cannot wait to see 1.8 and to see how it changes how discrimination is approached in the game. I think it'll be very interesting to see how it becomes handled. I mean, we've seen it in the dev diaries, but I want to, like, actually interact with it and see how it transforms things. Interesting. Interesting. Just kind of looking at things while we prance around here. In fact, I just realized we really should build up in Persia, shouldn't we? Because we could get a ton of silk out of it. Technically, we could get a ton of cotton, too. But silk is probably going to be the harder of the two things. And... Yep, sericulture. Null state. They do get sericulture, which is good. But we do have to keep in mind that these are rice paddies. So one wrong move and we'll have a ton of angry, starving Koreans. Which is definitely not on the to-do list. We do actually need to get them off traditionalism, though, which I don't think is going to happen, but I'm just going to shoot the shot and see what happens. Although he's been trying to enact it, but now they might have a civil war, which actually a civil war would be fantastic. Ah, but now they don't have any legitimacy. You know what? I'll take it anyway. I'll take it anyway. Because at least then we can use the Civil War to wipe out the landowners for a bit. Oh, there we go. Let us fall into revolution. That's alright. We could pass old age pension in the end, but I just don't want to. I'd rather get the workforce ratio as high as possible, personally. Even if we'll almost never get to it, because, you know, people keep migrating here. Well, that's okay. That's fine. Do need more rubber plantations. Is there any way to do that abroad? There is. Not too much, and I don't know how well they'll get used, but we'll kind of build it up anyway, just so it's there. Ah, Cuba has now found its rubber supply. Fantastic. Those should be a lot easier to employ for, at least. Even if it won't be much, it'll be more rubber than we have right now. And our money just keeps going up. I don't know if our dividend... Yeah, our subsidies are actually up, not down. Apparently we're spending money at the fertilizer plants. Well, they have gotten a lot cheaper. We did build a lot more, and sulfur prices did kind of crater a bit, didn't they? Oh, but we get compression ignition in 9 weeks, though. At this point, it's time to get one of the main oil rigs built up. Baku has not found its oil still. That is a little frustrating. But that's okay. It's just because Baku has 240 oil rig potential. So it'd be really nice if it found that oil, but it hasn't. So we're gonna just... Ah, Samara's found it's 90, though. You found your 60, you have 25 at the moment. You're all... 12 Alaska's 33, so we'll build that one up. Along with Perm. And we're kind of expecting to be spending a lot of oil very quickly, so we're just kind of preempting the construction here. In fact, speaking of construction, might as well build these areas up further, right? Really populate Siberia so there's just people everywhere. You'll increase the steel demand too, so that'll be fun. I didn't realize taxes are so low, I don't really worry about that. 2.4k a week isn't not even pocket change. Oh, I love this technology so much. So, this will absolutely nuke our coal, too, so we might not switch to the diesel pump for the coal yet. We're gonna switch the first three, though. Gold, sulfur, and lead. We are gonna actually have an oil shortage as a result because of that, but I think... We already had some oil rigs going, right? Oh, right, shoot, wait, we can switch the oil rigs you already have over to this. Some of them just haven't hired yet, fair enough. What does that do for the price? Not much, because this area is massively isolated, because I didn't build things up like a smart person, now did I? Yep, we're going to switch more things over shortly, but obviously we need to let the initial industry build up. In fact, let's kind of just move the Tobolsk ones to the top of the queue, shall we? And see if there's any oil we can import initially, too. America and Japan and Brazil, that will work. Just so it's not a shortage negative. But our GDP is already starting to go up, and all we did was switch some of the mines over. We didn't even switch all of them. Let me find one of them to give you a better idea so you're not just wondering. So, switching it over to the diesel pump means that it's making more of, like, sulfur, for example. It's making 20 more sulfur. Instead of using 15 coal, it uses 5 oil. And it replaces laborers with engineers and machinist jobs. So those are jobs that will be higher paying, but it will also be more profitable. Which, as you can see, it is more profitable, even though it's spending 75% price on oil and suffering a penalty to its total amount. So it is still more profitable. Same goes for the gold and lead. Hey, we finished the 5-year plan. That's funny. But yeah, so the reason why this is not translating its 1.43k production to the sell orders, we show here it's actually translating 845, is because of the market access is so low and the price impact is not high as a result. Once that transfers over, it should be fine. Like, it should be good to go then. Ooh, Persia's finding its oil, and you can better believe we're going to build that up. In fact, Persia's probably building a lot of stuff on its own now because it has a lot more money to utilize. How much money are we getting from Persia? 56k. Not bad. Not bad. They'll figure out the canning openings. Who is this? A market liberal? No. We're not letting market liberals here. Why would we do that? You're crazy. Up there is the aristocratic revolt in Korea as ordained and hoped for. We'll just go put that down now. And Tobolsk should be pumping out oil here. It and other areas oil prices are dropping. We are going to let it drop just a little more just to make sure we're not immediately slamming ourselves in the head here. How are coal prices now that we've partially switched over? Drop to minus 16% universally. Switch these to the trawlers. I might have forgotten to do that. Could switch the iron over. What else I'd love to do is start getting diesel engines and automobiles, but I don't know if we're making enough rubber for that. We are. It's just going to be expensive. I think switching that and diesel engines over, though, that's a lot of switching. Be plus 10k, it says, but then minus 5k, so it would be 5. It's hard to tell because these numbers are not going to be exactly as accurate as we would like them to be. So let's probably let the time take another week or two just to get a little more ready. I know those are still being built up. I'm just gonna kind of let it tick along here so we're all nice and ready and kind of get an idea of where everything is. Okay. Because I think iron is a little cheap-ish at the moment, right? Maybe we switch that to minus 17. It could probably wait. Although if we switch it over, the higher productivity means the population there will actually benefit better. But let's just... This is going to hurt. We're not going to have the oil for it. We're going to have to pay out the wazoo. Or whatever. to make it work. It's going to take time for the automobiles to catch on. But what we should see by the end of this is that we should see a much, much, much more profitable economy. Dang, that rubber cost went up higher than I thought. We're around 700 million GDP. Automobiles are already catching on. They're already a lot more expensive than they were a moment ago. I'm not sure who will benefit the most, but what should happen is, like, these guys who are working here should benefit a lot better once the productivity actually scales up. It's going to scale hard downward right now until we actually have enough oil, because we really don't have enough oil for this right now. Actually, wow, that's making way more engines than it said it would. That is a lot of engines. Like, way more engines than I was expecting. I mean, the good news is that if... oh, right, because now we have the engines. Where are they? We can switch all the urban centers over to public trams to use the engines to generate some... I mean, it's transportation, but we're expecting transportation costs to go up. It probably already has gone up, actually. Now the standard of living's gone up. That will at least mitigate the issue, but we can get a lot more plantations going if we ever find enough oil. Oh my goodness. Okay, the oil rigs in Perma are being built. We should be fine. But yeah, we're actually using up a lot more than I expected, to be honest here. It is a lot more than I expected. We could probably export some engines too, temporarily. Just to kind of buoy the price while we increase domestic demand for such engines. Well, if it's only wine and livestock, I guess it has to be wine. At the very least, any of our subjects who have access to the technology for automatic irrigation should definitely end up using it now. If only because there's just so much potential. In fact, we might build up some in Persia if they had pops to work with. They have some, but nowhere near as many as they used to. Mostly because we put them all to work, I guess, but still. Definitely need to die now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, so we're going to take on a lot of debt to make this work, but presuming it works, it'll leave us in a much better position. I just didn't expect the engine price to be so low. At this point, we're just kind of playing the waiting game, waiting for the oil prices to come back down. Nice. Alrighty. Let's see, 33 is not even the max for this, so it should grow later on. That's a lot of oil, though. What is like the GDP of Tobolsk now? It's mainly oil, allegedly. The math doesn't quite add up to 100, but it's mainly oil. And France has already embargoed us to stop the engines from being exported. How rude. How rude of them. That's okay, we'll just take our engines and export them elsewhere. We'll just export them elsewhere. There we go, the price is coming down at least. Probably still going to be paying a ton in subsidies, but it shouldn't be as bad now. Ah, the paprine epidemic is hit. That is not good. I'm still going to let Trenchworks finish, but we need to research pasteurization. Basically, that epidemic is going to cause... Oh, I didn't read that. An embargo? Sure. And then we'll just... I can't end it right away, can I? Well, it's Britain. Britain's probably the one I do want to embargo regardless. But basically, it's going to make our silk plantations suffer very harshly for quite a while. These are still going to be very expensive. No, we're not paying for the synthetic solution. At least we have plenty of engines to use for plantations, I suppose, if we need to look on a bright side. Don't have a lot of options for that, though. Is Krakow independent or something? No, they're still a puppet. I guess they managed to get, what, freedom of speech? Ah, they have protected speech. That would explain it. I was gonna say, I know they can't do it unless they get something like freedom of speech enacted, or otherwise it just doesn't work. Yep, we'll just ignore this. Who is this? The positivist? I mean, the armed forces not disappearing while they're loyal is probably a good thing. We're actually almost running a positive budget again after that financial scare. Which is pretty good. Honestly, that's really good. Engine prices are still going up, which I consider to be a good sign, but that's partially due to exports, so I can't exactly say it's a stable system. And unfortunately, the people working here are not really better off, because now they're just running a deficit. But with enough construction and enough time, it should kind of recover and lift itself back up. Ooh, grain prices are up a bit. How nice. Speaking of which, we have the compression ignition tractors, which actually would improve our financial situation. The only issue is that a lot of laborers would lose their jobs, and by a lot, I do mean in the millions. So we probably won't switch to that right away. We will upgrade the units, though. What is another state that can get up to like 50 steel mills just to max out the bonus? For stacking those together. Sure, I could... That's 45, not 35. But yeah, we could do Kursk. Why not? Just to max out the economy of scale before we start building more elsewhere or building them even higher. Because, like, the one in Kiev, we could build it up even higher. But that's getting, what, 56? This is getting 52. It would be better to, I really don't want to spend the money to get the research faster. We'll just, take the hit on the head. But if this area has it, I really should do the improved agricultural industry. Because we're going to have to put that in the areas that are afflicted by the epidemic later in order to cure it. Oh, it hit the main area that's producing it too. That's unfortunate. I'll at least partially contain it, though. For now. Prussia's exporting steel to us. I don't need Prussian steel. We make enough steel on our own. Thank you very much. Our subject is being attacked by... Yep, nope, not happening. Let's see, are you still in your debt situation? Working against the system? You declared bankruptcy 18 months ago. You're not in debt. Bought the Panama Canal too, apparently. Cool. Still a major power, but they're being pushed to a great power at the rate they're going. I'd love to get a treaty port in the U.S. just to be funny. It wouldn't really function because they're going to become a great power again. But it would just be the funniest thing to have a treaty port in the U.S. Can I get one in Washington? Could we just... Oh, but is that like Washington, the state region? Yeah, okay, hang on. I don't think we can because it's too small. Yeah. Seizing Texas, it would look really weird on the map. Or California can get a ton of cotton. I don't know. I want to beat the U.S. down in some way. I think for now we'll just kind of try to liberate New Africa here just to rip out the southern states. Wouldn't be too much of their economy, but it's a lot of coastline. We could actually rip out New England too. Again, not a lot of their GDP on its own. Just realized I don't need to offer support. I can just take it over. Now I'm in charge. Let's see. War reps, because we're going to have to land anyway. Liberate New England. Ooh, Oregon can be liberated. That's cool. Very cool. We could even regime change the U.S. as well, which would be hilarious. It would really kind of flip it towards a communist side, which I would really like, actually. But it would probably make it very... Actually, they would probably be guaranteed to have a civil war. They want to regime change us. That's adorable. Aww. Could we seize the District of Columbia? We could. I wouldn't really want to push their... Oh, that's only an incorporated state. It's not their capital anymore. Pennsylvania is. Fair enough. It would just be the funniest thing to seize the District of Columbia and own the White House as Russia. Yeah, you know what? We'll do it. Just because I think it would be really funny. And now if they back down in face of these demands, that's also fine with me. Like, I won't care as much. Oh, their armies are trapped there. Britain was swayed. I guess Britain really likes them. Yeah, genial, protective, positive relations. Apparently Moldavia's uprising against me, which is kind of, again, cute. You know, they're doing it, but good luck succeeding. Britain joining is a problem, but this makes me very glad that we got the trench infantry. We do actually need to recall the navy in that case, then, and upgrade everything. That way they'll at least have some strength to fight back. Definitely gonna need to leave 1 unit or 2 units over here in case Britain tries to naval invade us. And maybe we use this as an opportunity to seize British Guiana? It wouldn't mean that much, but its seizure would help. I'd love to get, like, the Raj ripped out from underneath them, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, it could. You never know. How much would it cost now that we can do it? 91. If I just had no infamy at all, we could consider it. Because we have a cautious ruler. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. We're at, what, 20-something now? 28? I can't get British East Africa. It's just a tad too large. That's unfortunate. British Congo as well. All the ones I'd love to rip out for rubber, and I can't get any of them. Denmark is a subject of the British. Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, Prussia banned religion too, apparently. They're also atheist. Didn't realize that. How fascinating and how funny. Humiliation. Does that require us to annex incorporated territory? I think it does. Let's just seize Guyana itself from the British. That's probably the safest bet here. Do I not have an interest there? I don't. Let me fix that really quick. I'm a little concerned that the British might outscale us in terms of numbers, but we'll have to see. Public transit. Well, I guess urban centers then, because the motor industries are already underwater to begin with. And I will go ahead and switch, even though it's going to be very costly. Switch over the military shipyards and keep them funded for now. There we go. Price of military goods just came down. Knocked us from 543k well below it. Swiss are having a civil war, which we'll promptly ignore. I just realized Italy still hasn't formed. Obviously, Germany hasn't formed yet either, but I don't know if Germany's ever going to form at this rate. I think they've just been beaten down too much, and they're too divided still to do much of anything. We're kind of at that stage of the game where if Germany hasn't unified, it's probably not going to unify in time. Oh, the British are actually getting their troops over here. That is very important information. Russian capitalist revolt. Not the best timing for it, but cool. Bessarabia. Do they have trench infantry too? They must. No, they don't. They're still on skirmishers. Yeah, I didn't think the capitalist revolt would play nice with us. But I just had to check it. I was curious. We might be losing the battle. Oh, no, we're not losing the battle. We're actually winning it. Fantastic. Wow, they really want to seize Peru from us. But if they don't get the regime change, it doesn't matter then. So station you there so they can't naval invade. Bring you over here to mess up the U.S. Hopefully mess up the U.S. And I see our bureaucracy is really starting to tank here, so... time to entrench the bureaucratic state. With probably more than we need to, but, you know, oh well. Alrighty. Where's our third fleet? It's probably not done upgrading, is it? Not yet. It still has a lot to do. This fleet was actually barely finished upgrading as well, but we had to deploy one of them. There's the one. There it is. Go ahead and send you then. I just got to keep an eye up there for any northern invasions that they've already sent some troops one way. Are they in another war? They're not. I think they've just... Ah, that's what the British did. They just kind of did a mass naval invasion, and all of our troops came home because when they got the orders to come home, there was no other front. That's my bad. Yeah, that's my bad right there, but that's okay. We'll just send them on a round trip around the world. What could go wrong? I doubt we'll get the landing off over here against the US, but we'll try. Who knows? They might, they might go bankrupt again. Oh, they are going to try to naval invade. But as long as our navy is in position, we should be fine. In fact, maybe we move the other one up here now as well, just to make sure they can't land on either side. Hey, electric railways, good. We might eventually use that at some point. 6 to 6, we've got the better troops. That's good to see. Concrete dockyards, very nice. Kind of moving along here. Maybe Prussia will fall below major power, if nothing else. I'm going to say I think they lose that before we land. Oh, really? Yeah, so they got teleported back. Yep. We're not losing, though, are we? Or not? They have to liberate Poland, too. They'll probably just try to naval invade us a bunch. But if that's the case, we'll be fine. We can handle it. We can handle a few naval invasions here and there. I do see liquor prices are up to minus 41%. That's quite the improvement, actually. Very nice. So, time to mass mechanize more farms, I guess. Oh, I did forget to upgrade the trains from steam to diesel. Silly me. That is a big oops on my part. And Tula apparently has 500,000 unemployed. Is this where most of the unemployed are? Apparently. I guess we'll, yeah, we'll just build 30 of each of those 2 buildings. And we'll just be off. That'll keep the construction pool busy for a little bit. Political agitation's been unlocked, which also means vanguardists are now unlocked, because they can't exist without political agitation. The technology, at least. Not sure they actually need that in real life. But maybe they do. Who knows? Okay, good news. We have a landing in the United States. I also just realized there's no front with the Amazon area because this area is impassable. That is hilarious. So they can't just liberate Guyana by land. I love it. I just realized I can click on that to move them. Well, I keep one division here just to keep it safe, but the rest of it is definitely moving into the US. Definitely need to actually hold position with these troops, though, because they are going to be attacking relentlessly to push us out. There we go. Pasteurization's done, so we can get rid of the pebrine epidemic. Actually, grab nitrogen fixation next, since grain prices and liquor prices have really recovered and grown. As long as they can hold out, they'll be fine. Just don't know if they'll hold out. There we go. That's much better. Thankfully, the area is small enough that only one battle's happening at a time, so we should be able to hold it. It doesn't win us the war, though, because it's not their capital anymore. But it puts us in a pretty good spot. Is this my other fleet? No, this is a 5th fleet or whatever that we never used, so we'll just get rid of it. And as the units kind of pour in here, we should be alright. Well, we'll keep one unit on the defense still, just for safety's sake. Until we're more confident in our position. Yep. And this is why we only have one admiral, because the one admiral will bring every ship into the fight. If you have several admirals, they end up splitting the fleet between each other. Which just makes the fleet a lot weaker in combat, so it's arguably, very arguably, a lot better just to kind of keep your fleets under a single admiral and build it up to 100 ships. Because then it won't split the fleet, it'll just use the whole fleet at once in combat. Which is just a lot better. They want white peace. As if. You started this war, America, now you get to pay the price. Maybe I get to pay the price soon. Yes, let's take the second option, because that means we get favors from everyone who says yes. To accepting our offer of the technology. A lot might not, though. Just because they hate us. But we'll see. Oh, yeah, the British have sent their troops here, but also the Americans have mobilized more people. we just seized Pennsylvania, that'd be fine. But yeah, no, the numbers no longer favor us. We need to play it defensively, which means I have to go through and put everyone on defense, which kinda sucks, but, you know. Or at least most of the big units. We could actually let one of the smaller units keep fighting, just because. Probably should get more conscripts is what we could do, but we could also just give it a minute. Oh, wow, I've never seen this option before. We'll handle these miscreants. Oof. Anti-communist violence. Not in the books for us. Not this time. If we just kind of sit here and wait, the Americans should eventually just go bankrupt and break. And the British should be slowly kind of fading out of this too, because, yeah, there's nothing keeping them in. So now we're kind of playing the waiting game, where if we just kind of sit down and wait long enough, they should just eventually cave. And we'll be fine. Not too much issue. Oh, we do own all of Maryland. I did not notice that. That's good. That at least gives us a few battles that we can lose without being pushed out. But they could still push us out with sheer numbers. I think one of them is still attacking. Probably should just switch that off because they are borrowing units. I forgot that they could borrow other units and lead them straight to their deaths, which is not a good thing. Ooh, who's at war with France? Oh, Britain, apparently. Again. I see they're doing that a second time. Yeah, once Britain capitulates, it should be easier, and... Ooh, communist ideology much more likely to appear in the country. Do not mind if I do. But yeah, once Britain leaves, it should be easier, and America going into default make this easier too. They're not close to a default, but, you know, it'll be easier. We'll go ahead and send over the remaining 50,000 units that we aren't using. I held them all off in case we got landed, but at this point, our naval blockade, naval defense, I should say, is up enough to where I'm not worried about the British breaking in. Should be all right for us. Ooh, you have, like, no people left. What about coffee, really quickly? Uruguay has no people. Nor do you. You have one more spot, and we can build it up there, too. Technically there's wine as well, but as reiterated, wine is just really bad. It can meet a portion of the demand for pups, but only a portion at best. It is limited in how much it can be. Even if it's much cheaper, it can only be a small portion of the total amount, which really sucks, but oh well, nothing I can do about that. It is what it is. Ooh, we could actually do that. Interesting. Just build that up for now. Oh, the armed forces are gone. That's not good. Oh, Persia's been renamed to Iran. Neat. Well, they may be marginalized, but at least they support the revolution now. Yeah, Britain's very close to capitulating. It just needs a couple more weeks, and it'll be done. I figured Korea wouldn't be able to get the wouldn't be able to get it to pass, but I had to try. Oh, that was... I saw the notification of a British naval invasion. I thought they had succeeded. It was just the notification that they're attempting one. Not a notification that they've succeeded. I was very concerned for a little bit there. French has to be abroad at this point. And while we can get opium here, what we really do want is that tea plantation. Really do want to annex them. Yes, there we go. Okay, they're gone. Doesn't guarantee our victory over here on its own, but it does kind of weaken them enough to where we should be fine, where they can't really quite win. Their debt is growing at a faster and faster rate. It's about 500,000 a week now. We did not seize. Oh, I forgot to add Guyana to the list, didn't I? Yep. Ah, man. Oh well, at least we're not losing. I feel like I lost though by forgetting that, but we'll take the wins that we can get, even if it comes with a price elsewhere. Well, German mass migration, very cool. Almost at 900 million GDP in 1899. We don't even have macroeconomics yet, which we will actually work towards next to get those last two companies and the 5% market access price impact that it provides. There are some states that are still pretty peasant heavy that we can actually start developing now. We should actually help the economy a lot. And grain is about to become extremely cheap again. Polish mass migration from Prussia. You love to see it. We can also now use oil and some more sulfur to make even more fertilizer. Technically, that's going to be bad for fertilizer prices right now. But that's okay. I don't need to subsidize these anymore. We have to subsidize those a bit longer, though. Because we're going to switch over. Oh, I never switched these over. We'll just switch them both. Then. Just switch it all. The price is going to be horrendous, I'm sure. Until it all readjusts. Minus 75 grain price because of how much we're making. That is ludicrous. Oh my god, what happened to the subsidy price? Yeah, that's a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. The grain prices kind of shattered more than I thought they would. Like, a lot more than I thought they would. Anyone who's still below 30 that's needing grain is definitely not going to need it now, but that's probably going to affect our subjects much more than it affects us. It is great for the food industry, though, because of the extremely cheap grain that they can now utilize, but it's terrible for my wallet. And hopefully we'll fix that pretty soon. Because I don't know how long our economy will last under these circumstances. It actually dropped our GDP, too. Here we go. So we can now go ahead and cancel these encouragements, because we no longer need them. I don't know if the grain price is going to recover, to be honest with you. We might actually be making too much grain. Let me kind of take these down a step here, even though they're not the main factor. See if that weakens it a little. What are fertilizer prices like? Minus 14? Iron prices are also up again, so we'll just go ahead and switch that over and get more oil going. This is the part where we really start to juggle with the economy, and the economy is going to pretty much live or die depending on how well or poorly we do this. It will probably go poorly, if I'm honest with you. But you know what? That's what we're here for. We're here to just roll dice with the economy and hope it goes out well. Even if it doesn't. That is just such a horribly low price for grain. I hope it's increasing the standard of living elsewhere, at least. I mean, we'll find out, I guess. It'll take time. And yeah, kind of looking over our subjects who have a lower standard of living average, it looks like their lower strata's standard of living is rising in general. Yep, so it's at least having an effect, but we have the majority of the people. Now, if our debt keeps growing, I'm going to have to turn that back off. Oh, no. Do not remove the subsidies. Because that is an incredibly high grain price. I've actually never had it be at minus 75 that long. God, can we get an obsession with grain? I know you actually can't, but that would just be hilarious. Not that it can actually happen, and I know it can't, but I still think it would be really funny. Let's see if we can't use this to drop grocery prices at least. Okay, is the US nearing its default at least before I do? Plus 25, so they're kind of getting there. Once they default, it'll be a lot easier. Oh, did your general die? No. Oh, yours did. We might be able to push if we have just the one general fighting. Alrighty. We're gonna try to at least finish the war with the U.S. before we stop it here. We are running a new massive bankruptcy program, apparently, though, which is not fantastic. But, well, here's hoping the price rises. And, failing that, I just realized what we could do is start exporting the food. Belgium, Brazil, Java, Sicilian, Piedmont, just anywhere that might accept it. And if they don't, they can start starving. Canadian market? Wait, did Canada break free? No, but it's been given its own market. Interesting. We'll just try to export some of the grain so that at the very least, the price isn't going to be at minus like 74 and just murder us economically. Because now it's too cheap is the problem. And causing a mass subsidies issue. Otherwise, this actually works out very, very well, but right now it really doesn't. But as the grain price recovers, we should see our GDP really start to rise, if it goes well. Ooh. That's a nice side bonus. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to rise because we're starting to get export routes going, and the groceries have been expanding quite a bit. Now, expanding them is going to hurt the groceries because their price is going to come down, but it means those that would actually be eating a lot of this because they can only do luxury food or have access to luxury food should serve better. We just now have a sugar issue, which is fine. And switch the rest of the wheat farms over. Do we get apple orchards and just forsake liquor? No, it's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea. Yeah, remember those sugar plantations we built? Very glad I did that now, because we are really going to need the sugar. Even more so than before. Oh, Morocco has sugar. Fantastic. You know what? I kind of forgot that Morocco was in our, you know, here. That they were with us and all that. Kind of forgot. How have they been doing? They've been doing well, I hope. Yeah, there we go. Our GDP is starting to climb a lot. The people working the rye farm should see their standard of living go back up as well, now that their livelihoods are being partially restored. And everyone else should just be fine. Yeah, there we go. The market price. As you can see, the productivity is actually about to reach its year average of 9.7 with the exports, but the price is still a lot lower, which is very good. Ugh, sorry. Very good. Yep, so now we're just kind of exporting a bunch of grain. I love economics. Oman backs down to Britain. Very cool. Except it's not. I know rubber's still a slight problem for us, but we'll try to solve it the best we can. How much of this rubber is imported anyway? About 3K, pretty much from Brazil. So if Brazil ever cuts us off, we're kind of doomed. But that's alright. How's Ching doing? I'm surprised they didn't... Oh. Ching restored autocracy, I see. So they're doing all nice. They're doing all fine. Alright, well, fair enough. I suppose their aristocrats did have the clout to do it. Yeah, those attacks of ours are not really working, but the U.S. is at 45 million in debt now at plus 70%. So it'll break eventually. We can probably ignore it and be okay. Probably. Probably not. But to have a bunch more urban centers. Alrighty. I guess I would like to get... What is this, our fourth company? So I really should think about this. I would normally get the Mineral Corporation for more coal and more sulfur, but we're at this point now where more oil would arguably be wiser. And again, you can't go wrong with more sulfur, and more coal is never a bad thing either. Ooh, cola has some. Very nice. I don't have Wallachia annexed yet, though. That's true. You know what? We'll go for the coal and the iron, probably, or the coal and sulfur, probably. Let me glance around here, though. I know there's special companies we could use. 276 tea plantations getting a 30% throughput bonus would not be a bad thing. Because luxury drinks will rapidly become one of the most expensive options for us. You know what? We'll take the risk. We'll swing. We'll swing and we'll try it. Yeah, that dropped the price already by quite a margin. And that's actually causing them to go up in standard of living, but let's see the next tick. Falls again, but I did notice, my goodness, they really need more services, but they're going to have a lot of people to recruit for service industries now, though, because the service industry just expanded massively, so we should see a lot of service prices fall temporarily. I say temporarily because I'm expecting it to go back up, but that also means the amount of unemployed just dropped. There's a ton of peasants everywhere now. Which actually, arguably means now is the time to switch to compression ignition tractors. Against all other sound judgment and reasoning. If any exists. Because now that'll create a bunch of unemployed that can then be hired into the urban centers while they're not, dying. And actually, let's quickly grab plastic, because glass is getting really expensive, and I'd love to upgrade the glass works to use oil. That would be even better for economics. God, I kind of don't want to end it now. It's just really getting to the extremely good part. But we could have one more. Ooh. Yeah, just to make the Social Democrat resign, why not? Now he's a moderate. Ooh, historical character. Very cool. When do you go bankrupt? Not yet. Not yet. They're close, though. Speaking of which, we're about to hit 1 billion GDP as well if this continues. And with modifications, our average standard of living has reached 25. But that's with modified standard of living, so we'll see how long it goes before it gets elsewhere. We haven't switched the coal mines over to using oil yet. We probably, arguably, should. I'm just worried about making coal too cheap and then having that drain us as well. The rye farms are still draining us in terms of expense, but they've become more profitable. Their productivity is higher. And it's only farmers that work in it now because of the automation. So all the farms are just farmers. No laborers anymore. And despite the mass unemployment we caused, unemployment is not high. It's less than 1.5 million. Whereas, yes, service prices have dropped, which is good, because that means standard of living goes up elsewhere, like for these chaps here. Very lovely, very lovely. Some might go back down a bit as it kind of rubber bands a little on us, but that's okay. A little rubber banding is to be expected. Ooh. Oh, I have a truce with Britain, so I couldn't do it anyway. Afghanistan joined too, so that's curious, actually. But you know what? Let them do what they want, I suppose. Doesn't hurt us anyway. Because since it's a civil war, they can't have anything demanded of them. So it's okay if they go in and, die or whatever. They'll be fine. Well, the people that go in that die won't be fine, but everything else will be. Oh, did they go bankrupt? I think they went bankrupt. They did. Ah, yes. We don't really have as many people to use now, though, because we kept up some of those attacks. But that's okay. Numbers will mean a lot less now, I hope. I really hope. Yes, okay, their defense is like 30 with blunder. That's awesome. There are some areas where they'll still win because of the numbers. Oh, you know what? We never did switch, because we wanted to keep using liquor. We never did switch over to field hospitals. This is going to massacre organization, but field hospitals give a 20% higher recovery rate, and while it needs opium, we have plenty of opium access. We arguably should be using that just to keep them alive for longer. Could use the automobiles too, actually, and the oil. That's another thing. That has technically made things worse for us now, actually. And in fact, a lot of our people are now dying. Oh, wow. Actually, a lot of our people did die because now they have no organization. At least we had 1 billion GDP, though, despite, terrible martial prowess. So arguably we need to kind of sit here a little longer. And let things build up just a wee bit more. Because, oh dear, I just bled out half the Russian army. But give it like a month or two for recruitment to go through, and it should be fine again. Like, it should be back to full strength. But we've got a lot of people who want a new job because they recently got kicked out of the rye farms for unknown reasons. And I know I'm building more rye farms while it's cheap as heck, and I was complaining about earlier how cheap it was. I do this to myself a lot. Sweet. Nice. Now it's all nice and built up. It actually gets plus 10% agricultural throughput, too. Which only benefits the farm, the maize farm, but whatever. Yeah, because that organization drop pretty much nuked their defense and even nuked recovery rate. But now that it's back up, we should be fine. And basically, the higher recovery rate means we shouldn't take as many casualties. Like, we'll still suffer people getting wounded, but some of the wounding can jump right back into the fight. It just means less pups will die as well, so we don't have to spend time recruiting people as much and all that. Which is good. That will help us. Less dead, more wounded. Might get demoralized instead, too. Ooh, just build up some of those oil rigs, even though they can't afford it yet. You don't have the transportation. I wonder why. I'm gonna use way too much of it, that's why. Yep, there we go, though. Now the American army is just kind of being massacred in the field. Yeah, I'm not joking. They really are getting massacred. Jeez. What are the total deaths like just between us and them? We've lost almost 1 million men. Well, yeah, we've almost lost 900k, not counting our puppets. The Americans have lost over 1 million people and counting. We can afford the casualties. We can outgrow that. They can't. Once the war ends, that should balance our budget a little bit here, but interest is high. Subsidies are still really high, too, but they've dropped. Like, they're still high, but it's not as high. Ah, I couldn't pause in time. Kind of want to annex Kokon, to be honest. Just to get more people to migrate there and make all the tea plantations, but, well, that's just me. Guess we could build up some of these anyway, because they might attract people later, or they might change jobs. You never know. I'm just glad they're using automatic irrigation. Squeezes a little more out of that for us. There we go. Pennsylvania has fallen. Even give us war reparations. Fantastic. There we go. It's not a huge amount of their economy, but it will rip out some of their flotillas, and now the District of Columbia is ours, which will make a fine little, yes, we're going to incorporate it. Just to rub it in. Just to rub it in. Jeez, there's so much turmoil here, it'll take forever to build it. Well, that and the devastation, I guess. The devastation's probably no reason. Huh. They just formed a power block because they're a great power again, but they're gonna just immediately lose it when they're not a great power. That's funny. But yep, Washington, D.C. is, well, on fire. It's also owned... Really? Again, France. Man, they really want Tunis. Tunisia. Alright, Algeria. We liberated it from them. Oh, that's so funny. Like, that's just great. Let's see. What are we at for time? We're at about 2.5 hours, roughly, now. I think this is a good spot to end it. We're at 1901. You know what? I'll get us to 1902, and then we'll call it there. Probably. We do have 9 weeks for plastic. That would be nice to show off, but I don't want to make it go for too long. So we'll kind of see where this ends up. Oh, revolution in Brazil as well. How interesting. Um, we could try to break France, maybe liberate Occitania, or just seize Constantine. They fully built it up already, but it does have oil and sulfur. Sulfur is good. No reason not to. French East Africa. Oh, they annexed Madagascar. Huh. Cool. You know what? French East Africa would be a fine thing to seize. And maybe French Senegal, too. Just kind of seize them both. There's a lot of agriculture we could utilize. Yep, we'll do that. Kind of bumps our infamy back to where it started, but that's okay. Happy worker's loyal worker. Cause without a rebel, without whichever way forward. Ooh, we are at least kind of positive on the budget while we, you know, abuse the U.S. for war reparations. Not that they can pay a lot. I want to see what this looks like before we pause it here. Ah, minus 85. They're wary. That's unfortunate. All right, I think this is a good point to end it off, though. Our GDP per capita has hit 6.68. The only one higher than us is Iran, who basically got massive investments from us. The number of people who are Russian has actually increased to almost 83%, which is very, very cool. In fact, I am curious, what does the religious map mode look like? Lots of atheism, as expected, and the cultural map mode. Lots of Russian. Ufa is more Russian than Bashkir now. And Kazan is more Russian than Tartar now, but barely. Like, very, very barely. It's because of all the people that migrated there. There's more Russians in Kuban than Circassians. It's just interesting to, like, check those areas and note the, changes to who's the majority. Yeah, there's more Russians here than the others. Ooh. Very cool, very cool. Ukraine is actually almost more Russians in Odessa here than Ukrainian. Very interesting. I don't expect us to override that many areas in their majority culture, but we have more Russians in this part of Lithuania than there are Lithuanians. They have both of them actually. Wow, okay. Interesting. And then, yep, Russian in the Amazons makes sense. All those South Italians kind of converted over time. Makes a lot of sense. Danish in Texas. Not expected, but apparently there's a Russian majority in Kansas. Hopefully, next time we do this, we'll see the District of Columbia be a majority of Russian as well. It shouldn't be hard to do. Well, that's why England has a bit of instability. All the Han pops are in there and causing problems. Because they're not being culturally accepted. They're being culturally suppressed, to my knowledge. We have very interesting map mode to see. Just a couple of different areas that kind of changed here and there. It's not too much, but it's just really cool to see it all the same. All right, what else should we look at? It's 1902 now, which is nice. All right, 62% of the population are not atheists. It's not so bad. You know what? I'm curious. Census data. What is like the best standard of living? Very small pops. That makes sense. What about a larger one? 1,000, 48 makes more sense. The largest pop groups appear to be some farmers and clerks, and then laborers. Some of them are unemployed laborers, which is sad. And that makes me sad. Ooh. These Russians at the tea plantation are doing very nicely. They'd probably be doing a lot better if services weren't so expensive. But we're kind of reaching a point where we're going to need not glass, sorry, we're going to need electricity to bring that down any further. And that's with the 33% public transportation. Ugh. It's probably just their regular service need is what's eating us up. I don't think it's the leisure need, but I could see us making fine art if it is. I am actually curious. Where's the affluent group? Because this will tell me a lot. Let's see. Services. 309 demand. And then leisure is 4.33. So it is mainly just service itself. Interesting. See, that is one problem that's going to be hard for us to solve, because urban centers only exist if we build more of them. And we can only build more of them by building other buildings. So I think the next time we do this, we're definitely going to start pushing out a lot of electricity to switch that over. And getting elevators to get arcades. Which, interestingly enough, while they decrease labor employment, they actually add jobs in the form of more clerks and shopkeepers. The math checks out to where you actually have more people working here, which is just really interesting to me. Of course, the public trams, you can partially offset that because it takes more jobs than it adds. Public motor carriages wouldn't be a bad idea, but automobiles have hit plus 38% in base price, which, oh yes, they have really come a long way since. Ah, right, rubber shortage, because Brazil is currently fighting itself. That makes sense. We probably want to do something about that at some point. Probably. I'm just going to set those up ahead of time. But, aside from that obvious problem, they are very rich in this motor industry. They're almost averaging out at wealthy. Which is kind of scary, and the largest groups are actually kind of the wealthy ones. So they definitely demand a lot of goods, which is arguably why we're starting to see a lot of luxury clothes demand, which is actually above regular clothes again. Let me switch that over really quick, and let me just kind of let one tick a bit there. All right, I see we're kind of low on that too. So I am going to end it here. I almost gave in like a Muppet. Wow. I think this is going very well. I'm glad we were able to get back to this again. I'm going to try to push out at least one more episode, get through the 1910s and the 1920s. But I think we've kind of largely set out what we wanted to do. We're going to just try to see who else we can kind of annex and push forward. Make this GDP here kind of grow further, see how high we can get it. I know our population growth is starting to slow down a bit further, and that's fine. It's been our standard of living has been steadily rising overall. I know we've got a few capitalists and landowners still, and I think this is just upper strata pops who migrated. They've migrated and they haven't like taken on a new job yet. An end goal I would like to do, if we can do it, is to try to drop taxes here. That's going to be pretty difficult, but if we can get the subsidies and interest pretty much gone, we could drop it at least once. And that drop would pretty much have the dividends rate, which on its own could see the standard of living just skyrocket. I don't know if we can get to 30 standard of living with the modifiers of healthcare, at least in our current time frame because of just how things have gone. But we'll definitely give it a try. Thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, please do leave them in the comments below. And when we do this next time, I will do my best to show anything off that's asked. So until next time, I will see you later.